It is time to go racing in Spain. Today, the Formula One World Championship moves to Catalonia for round 7, and the stakes are high. Today, pole sitter George Russell tries to win his first Grand Prix since the season opener. Second place Lewis Hamilton attempts to emulate Michael Schumacher and win his first Grand Prix for Ferrari at this venue that runs to 14 turns, 2.8 miles. It is 4.6 kilometers in length. 66 laps for us ahead today. There's plenty of elevation, there's plenty of long corners. Absolutely destroying the tyres. There are the 14 corners. You do have multiple active aero zones as well around this racetrack. Step softer with the compounds. It means they're less durable for the C4, the C3 and the C2. It means we're heading to a minimum of a 2-stop Grand Prix, which is pretty unusual this year. Plenty of variation. Could even be a 3-stop. Either way, lots of action coming your way. Third place, Kimi Antonelli, trying to become just the 8th driver to win 6 Grand Prix in a row in championship history. It's an amazing top 3, but let's go from the back to the front and show you the full grid. Fernando Alonso will be starting from the pit lane, finally out-qualified by Lance Stroll for the first time in 42 races. Valtteri Bottas is in 20th, Sergio Perez finds himself as the lead Cadillac once again. Alexander Albon is next to Esteban Ocon, both of them struggling for form over one-lap pace this year. Next is Carlos Sainz, scored points in his home Grand Prix 10 times. Big task to do it from 16th. Oliver Bearman is 15th on the grid. Alpine have been really struggling. Both drivers saying the car is just totally disconnected. What a contrast from when they were on the podium in Monaco a week ago. Next up, Bortoleto. Next to Arvid Lindblad, missed out on Q3 by 7/100ths of a second. Charles Leclerc found the wall at turn 4. Nico Hülkenberg's first Q3 of the year puts him in 9th. Liam Lawson equals his best qualifying position of the year with 8th, and then it is Oscar Piastri, winner of the Grand Prix here last year in 7th. Isaac Hadjar is next to teammate Max Verstappen, who has a history of success around this racetrack, 4 times a winner. Lando Norris thought that 3rd was in reach, but he is P4. Championship leader is P3. Lewis Hamilton was less than 1/10 of a second away from returning to Grand Prix pole, but George Russell got it. And the driver 3rd in the standings has his 2 closest rivals for the title behind him on the grid. This is going to be a race that is more complex than we have seen in temperatures that are warmer than any Grand Prix this year. Track temperature is 51 degrees, the air temperature is 30 degrees, and we're looking forward to it in the commentary box. I'm Alex Jakes, alongside me, as ever, I'm delighted to welcome to the broadcast David Coulthard and Jolyon Palmer. DC, we're about to see plenty of pit stops and tyres degrading.
Yeah, doesn't it feel good though? Doesn't it feel that we've got that, jeopardy, that uncertainty, that yes, it was a great qualifying. Well done those who put the car on the edge and found the lap time, but that doesn't matter now. Getting those tyres to go the distance, making the right strategic decisions, and of course, making the right call as you run down to turn 1, just means there's a lot going on. It's old school racing on what I think is a track that stood the test of time.
It feels like it's all to play for today. Qualifying, so often the killer blow. It has been many times in the past in Barcelona, but this year just feels a little bit different. We've seen some really entertaining action, loads of overtakes so far this year in this new reg era, but we've not yet seen one that's been brought out by strategy like this one promises to be. Mercedes 1st and 3rd, with Hamilton looking quick again in 2nd. You've got 2 key parts. The race start with a really long run down to the first braking zone, and then, as you say, DC, the strategy to play out over 66 laps. It feels like the sort of one we're not going to know who's in the pound seat until late on in the race when all the strategy options have unfolded.
It is nearly time to send the cars from the grid to the formation lap. The 36th time that we've run a Grand Prix around this configuration. For the first time it's been known as the Barcelona Catalonia Grand Prix, and immediately something to remark upon. On the front row, a difference in starting tyre between George Russell on the mediums and Lewis Hamilton on the soft tyre, which should be the grippier tyre, which should give him a launch off the line that is theoretically better to compensate for being on the dirty side of the grid.
Yeah, that is interesting. And how long can he take that tyre into this Grand Prix? Deg was showing up at about 3/10 a lap. It tends to be better on race day than the predictions from Friday long runs. A very long time Hamilton sat on the grid before being comfortable with his start procedure. which is ever more complicated this year, Julian, over what we would have raced with.
It only ever gets more complicated in this world, doesn't it? But yeah, getting the turbo spooled, getting your energy levels, the battery to the perfect level. You've got a longer time to pick up some revs to make sure that's all happening, and then get back to your basics of a clutch drop and a throttle blend in to start deploying all of that power down to the rear axle. I like what Ferrari have done here. Hamilton on softs, it's punchy. He'll have more grip off the line. He's got a golden shot to take the lead in what we already know is a fast-starting Ferrari. And then he'll be pitting early and defending that from the front. That's the game plan for Ferrari. And watch out for Verstappen too. He will go aggressive. Here we go, softs with Max, 5th on the grid. The car directly ahead of him will be the championship leader, Kimi Antonelli. And if I'm Kimi, I don't want to hear that you got Max starting 5th with a long shot, with a big slipstream of chance, to take loads of risks with a driver that he knows will have to be cautious.
Yeah, well, very tellingly though, speaking to Max ahead of him going to the grid, he felt the need to remind us of his starting issues, and he didn't seem that punchy. I thought he would have been thinking a world of opportunity for me to go all in to turn 1, but it sounded a bit more reflective, so let's see how he gets off the line.
George Russell lining up in pole position. His old teammate 8 metres further back, 16 metres back, his current teammate. Antonelli is the championship leader over Lewis Hamilton, who is in 2nd place in the World Championship for the first time since 2021. Hamilton will have the grippier tyre. Remember, it has been a shorter run to the first corner in Montreal and Monaco, our previous 2 Grand Prix. Home favourite and 2-time world champion Fernando Alonso has made his way to the pit lane. They have made changes to that car and fitted different power unit components. 21 on the grid then, doing their final burnouts. Some will roll the dice with strategy further back, others, and only the Aston Martins, are on the hard tyres. Everyone has opted for the medium or the soft to get off the line. The track temperature is 51 degrees, the hottest Grand Prix of the year. The tyres will fall away. Can you get the Pirellis to last? That is the task, and the top 3 in the World Championship are our top 3 on the grid. The green flag at the back is our signal to look to the lights. Our epic run to turn 1 is 5 lights away. Hamilton versus Russell. And the Grand Prix is underway. Good reaction time for Kimi Antonelli. He's close. It's not the launch that Lewis Hamilton wanted on the soft tyres, but Hamilton crucially gets ahead of Antonelli. Norris is in the mix as well. George Russell holds the lead. George Russell holds 1st place, and the launch off the line was good to protect 2nd. Can they all make it through in the background? Racing balls off the road. Hamilton's got better fire up from those tyres. He's attacking George Russell as we make our way to turn number 4, but Russell gets the launch that he needs, and it's Russell, Hamilton, Antonelli, Norris, Verstappen, and Piastri gained a place. Charles Leclerc gained 3.
Yeah, that was a tidy getaway for George Russell. Initially, it looked like the reaction from Hamilton was slightly better, but those early starts in the previous Grand Prix where the Ferrari was mighty, that has been neutralised, and this is the perfect scenario for George. He's just starting to open a little bit of a gap, knowing that he's got more durable tyres.
It's the perfect chance for Mercedes to showcase their improved starts. That was exactly what George Russell needed there off pole. The soft tyre didn't really give either Lewis or Max any sort of advantage. Look further back, Isaac Hadjar has absolutely tumbled down the order, making a place up here on Ollie Behrman.
Trying to on the outside of turn 10. Behrman ahead for the moment. Hadjar down 9 places and trying to make amends. Frenchman started 6th position in the Grand Prix, and now he's in the gravel as it gets messy behind. He's been shuffled back. Overtake mode is now enabled. George Russell, who once went from 4th to the lead, holds the lead in Barcelona in what many are calling a must-win Grand Prix for him.
Well, this now becomes an ideal situation for George. So I would have been sitting there with trepidation as we see the Haas cars now duking it out.
Ocon versus Behrman. Ocon trying to go around the outside. Soft tyres for Esteban Ocon, and the position gained.
Yeah, working well on the first lap, but they will only go away from here. The temperature's so hot, the tarmac's so abrasive, and the corners are so fast, and it all means that tyre life is going to be critical. So starting on a soft now, the gain is always going to be on the first lap. Once you don't make that gain, if you're Hamilton or you're Verstappen, you're now sitting there thinking, please, can I now get to that first pit stop and hold on? Because now Russell seems to be in a better position to just ease that gap.
move in the lower reaches of the top 10. Hulkenberg has got past Arvid Lindblad. Hulkenberg on the soft tyre, able to make the move on the British rookie driver, who is 18 years of age and has good form around here. He is an F2 winner, he's an F3 winner around the circuit. He started in 11th place, had made a couple of places. Hulkenberg gets him back. Hulkenberg searching for his first Grand Prix point score of the season.
Well, look, there's no question that the soft tyre is going to have higher degradation, but it feels that not only did those who went on softs gamble on them getting grid position at the start, they're banking on the fact that degradation improves into the Grand Prix. We very rarely, if temperatures are stable, see worse degradation come race day. So well, this is a process of discovery for all of them, and we're going to find out in the next few laps.
Great look at the first turn of the racetrack, and that's the Williams going deep. Could offer an opportunity to Hadjar here.
Around the outside.
Oh, sends one around turn 3, and he makes the move. Nicely done.
Lap it up. That's a really smart work. That drone shot was a great angle to see. Sainz going defensive and then going in deep for 2, being out of position for 3, and Hadjar swept through in the ever more common outside of turn 3 move.
Yeah, and that was medium against softs, and that was downforce against, well, I'm not going to say the Williams is down on downforce, but clearly they've got a slightly overweight car. They've been making improvements, but you can just see the difference in the car's performance, both of them running in clean air.
Hadjar still making up for a really dismal start. So somewhere in the melee, he lost a huge amount of ground, and it allowed Piastri to go attacking Verstappen as well. We think McLaren should have a little bit more to offer over the long run. So Hadjar just trying to get back to the points now. Will be ruining that, I'm sure, underneath the visor.
Lap 4 of 66. George Russell holds the lead by 2 seconds over Lewis Hamilton. Hamilton, I think, was able to use that soft tyre to move across on Kimi Antonelli, who in the first phase of the start seemed to get a great launch and then find Ferrari squarely in the way, chasing the slipstream for the race leader. And George Russell trying to return to the top step since the opening Grand Prix of the year in Australia back in March. One of his major hurdles for his race today was being jumped at the start. He's cleared it.
Good race start for this man as well. In the wall at this exact part of the circuit yesterday. Got in deep, ran offline, tried to keep the throttle in, and off he went to the left. But he's managed to clear Lawson and Hulkenberg early on. Hadjar's cleared himself out of the way of most of the field there. So that's 3 places gained for Charles Leclerc, and straight away looking at the major players again. He's not losing out. You can see that gap there, 3 seconds from the sort of Class A race and the Class B race in 2026 Formula 1. And Leclerc is straight looking at the back of Piastri, so it's the best possible first couple of laps for him.
Yeah, and the contrast, Julian, in his line through turn 4, where prior to binning it, he was hanging it out on the white line, desperately trying to pick up some speed through there in qualifying, and then we see that shallower, shorter route, the tyre preservation line that they're taking here in the race. It's like a good 2 car lengths difference.
Yeah, you can see him keeping it tight out of turn 10 as well, just trying to straighten off the exit so you're not having the combined acceleration and turning phase, which really has overheated these Pirellis ever since they were introduced in Formula 1, and never more so than now, with all of that power that you're getting from the electric motor being dumped in.
Let's go back to the start of the Grand Prix then.
Keeping an eye on Hadjar as the one that, yeah, you can see there, he's already starting to bog down in the second phase of the start. And, well, Kimi Antonelli in the slipstream of Lewis Hamilton. Lewis taking advantage of that slightly wider line into turn 1. And, yeah, it was just a case the damage was done for Hadjar, wasn't it, by the time he got to that first section. And it was a clean start on board with Charles Leclerc. Yeah, like not making much progress at all on the RB in front, but you see avoiding Hadjar.
Yeah, that was as funky as it got in terms of the racing action. My word, there was not a lot between those two. There's not a lot here as well. We're going to have a Racing Bulls cutting through. I think it's Arvid Lindblad that comes and joins on the left.
So it was a move for Leclerc getting past Lawson, and Lindblad rejoined the right way. That's Hadjar not getting off the line and tumbling down to what is now 13th.
Wheel spin, wheel spin, wheel spin all the way through the first couple of gears, and still you're losing that momentum. And in Barcelona, it hurts you. Such a long run to the first braking zone, just gobbled up there.
On board Pierre Gasly. And the Hulkenberg incident for leaving the track and gaining an advantage. So Lindblad rejoined the correct way as mandated by the race director, and they're looking whether Hulkenberg skipping over the apex of 2 gave him an advantage.
Maybe the fact they're side by side with Colapinto as well and came out ahead of him is another part. Colapinto, they're shuffled down behind those other 2. It's all a bit close.
And that was Ocon getting past Oliver Bearman. Difference in compound at the moment favouring the soft tyre. Interesting laps in the context of the World Championship battle. We have Kimi Antonelli a second away from Lewis Hamilton. Remember, those soft tyres will disappear. I wonder if those who started on the soft were heeding the word of Pirelli's chief engineer Simone Berra earlier in the weekend, who said there's not that much difference between the soft and the medium when it comes to degradation.
Yeah, Aston's woes getting even worse here as they've had to retire Stroll's car, and Alonso's desperately trying to catch on to the back of Bottas in the Cadillac. So not a great situation for the local hero.
Miserable. Off the back of a point in Monaco. The unlikeliest of points, as they both started on the back row, but it's even more unlikely here for Fernando Alonso, who will wait another few races to get some upgrades on that car. So we're into a kind of waiting game, aren't we, for just a few laps. I'm sure the pit stops will come soon enough. Russell's lapping a second away from his best lap, already losing a bit. Here we go with Charles Leclerc.
Oh, whoa! Charles Leclerc nearly taking off the front wing.
How did he miss the back of that McLaren, and how did he keep it on the racetrack?
That was for 7th position. He was trying to take 6th. He was just trying to avoid it. That's the move around the outside again for Isaac Hadjar.
Making it work. He's found the line, and once you do it once, you manage to get your rival out of sync through 1 and 2, and you just open up through 3 and use the downforce of the Red Bull. Leclerc's heart must have been through his mouth as he hit the brakes there. I think he was just caught out with how early Piastri hit the brakes for the first corner. There was kind of no sign of a move coming for Charles, but suddenly thought, by the time Oscar hit the brakes, do I, don't I? And in that moment of hesitation, he was so close to rear-ending from absolutely nowhere, the back of the man in 6th.
He's banked that information, though, and if that is par for the course for Piastri, he's going to be vulnerable for Leclerc next time around.
Outside line again, an overtake again. Isaac Hadjar choosing his own racetrack right now and recovering the places. He's up to 11th. Here's an opportunity for Charles Leclerc. This time he's close to Piastri again. This time he's unable to make the move, but he's compromised Piastri's line. Is there a chance for one of those moves around the outside of turn 3 that Hadjar has shown us is so possible? The Ferrari faster, faster, faster still, edging ahead, and now in the braking zone for turn number 4, Charles Leclerc gets clear.
These are proper passes. This is proper hardcore. Make a decision, be brave, commit, and deliver.
That's an absolute belter, isn't it? I thought it's one thing clearing a Williams or an Alpine there. It's another thing clearing a former winner here last year. Oscar Piastri round the outside at turn 3 in a McLaren that's still working pretty nicely, but they're just drifting back, McLaren, in this race. Leclerc clearing Piastri, Norris not going with Antonelli ahead, and great opportunistic pass there for Charles to get into 6th, and now he'll start pressuring Max Verstappen ahead.
It's never nice to be passed around the outside. It's never nice to get passed full stop, but when somebody goes the long way and makes it stick, it just feels a little bit, why me? Why there?
You feel like Muggins, don't you, when you're sitting there trying to come back on the inside of turn 4, but there's too little too late by then. It's just tricky. It's also the corner that's most going to kill your left front tyre. So when you're driving through naturally, if you lean on it like you're doing a qualifying lap, you can't do that. You'll do 1 or 2 laps and you'll start to melt through that left front. So the natural modus operandi is hold back a little bit. You do that too much, you get past. We've got another one coming.
Isaac Hadjar trying to return his Red Bull to where he started. Does he get the move? No, didn't get the room. Was intrigued to see whether he would get the move from the junior team. The answer was no. Lindblad hanging on to 10th position. Hadjar having to wait his turn. The Alpines are racing further behind as well. Gasly on the more durable medium tyre, putting Colapinto under pressure. Colapinto, who had the fast-starting soft, and Colapinto, who gained a place from where he started.
Tyres are going away really, really quickly. Russell's lost nearly another second of performance from his best lap.
And Lando, how's the pace, how's the tyres?
Just, yeah, sliding everywhere.
So, in 9 laps, George Russell has lost nearly 2 seconds. He's in clear air, out front in a Mercedes. It's not looking like it's an easy day for these Pirelli tyres. We knew that was the case. It looked pretty bad across the board. No one's choosing to pit. It's a long pit stop here. It's 23 seconds in clear air because it's so quick coming through the final corners. You're going at such a high speed, whereas when you pit, you're obviously trundling at an 80 kph pit lane speed limit. But if you pit, you're going to go fresh tyres, you're going to have a huge undercut opportunity, but you'll still come out in dirty air. And that's the balance now that everyone is treading. The first one's surely got to be Antonelli with a view on Hamilton. Do you go for an ambitious undercut, or do you sit there, preserve the tyres, and maybe think of a 2-stop instead of a 3-stop and play the long game?
Yeah, I guess the gaps that you'll fall into is going to be as much as a decider on that as well. And there is obviously good opportunity to overtake, especially if you've got a fresh set of tyres on. But there's certain corners, if you came out behind the traffic, you could end up losing part of that advantage.
It's a sellout today at this circuit. First use for Formula One in 1991. And Nigel Mansell was the winner that year. He was the winner the year after as well. Alex Albon is running a Nigel Mansell tribute crash helmet because he has overtaken Mansell's record. Mansell had 95 starts for Williams. Now Alex Albon, after getting off the line today, has 96. That's the nice part of the sentence. The tricky bit is he's been noted for a starting procedure infringement. Takes us back to last week. Still no word on Hulkenberg and Lindblad. You looked alarmed when I said last week.
Please don't. Please don't. We're not getting into penalties already, are we?
Max Verstappen on the soft tyres, having the Ferrari of Charles Leclerc for company. Charles Leclerc saying yesterday after his error he was ashamed of his mistake in qualifying. It has been fast but fragile for Leclerc in recent races, where he's found the wall in the Monaco Grand Prix and again in Grand Prix qualifying at the exit of this corner.
I think that's his only Achilles heel. He's got speed, he's got the ability to deliver over a Grand Prix, but he does still have, apparently, the tendency to bin the car occasionally with a little bit of overdriving, and 3 shunts in the last 2 events, having signed a multi-year extension to his contract. Maybe he's a bit distracted with what he's going to do with all that money.
And Charles Leclerc committing his long-term future to Ferrari.
You've got this perverse fact that he has just signed a huge deal.
Yeah, it's looking like a lot for the tyres. I'm even wobbling on the straight. It's quite impressive.
What? That is not ideal for the 4-time champion. 4-time winner around this racetrack, currently holding on to 5th. Lewis Hamilton's in the pits, so he's gone early. Goodbye to the soft tyres. And Hamilton will take on a new set of Pirellis to change this race. How does everyone react?
Yeah,
hard tyres on the car.
Yeah, indeed, the hard, more durable. Let's see when he comes out on track. It should be in front of that battle with Lawson and Hadger, or will it with momentum? Yeah, it should be fine. So it gets the car up to speed on the run down to turn 1.
Yeah, nicely done by Ferrari. Lawson pitted as well in the back of shot, so that is Hamilton into some nice clear air. Here's the Racing Bull stop. Oh, it's not good at all for a man in the points.
Oh, he had such a good qualifying yesterday, and he's trying to add to what has been multiple point scores. 6.3. It's only 6 seconds, but they're chasing 2, and that's going to leave him vulnerable.
Well, it's through goes Hulkenberg and Hadjar.
So Lewis in.
He's probably going for a 3.
Big moment. Russell absolutely is correct. Surely that's a 3-stopper for Hamilton and Ferrari. Do Mercedes cover him off? Do they go for 3? Or do they say, no, we're going to stick to our guns. It's a 2-stopper. Let's let Ferrari do their thing.
He's probably got a lap to sort of get information on just how quick Hamilton can go on those hard tyres. How much is he going to push as he locks it up down to the line?
Here comes our race leader. Coming in, hitting his marks and taking on those hard tyres, reacting to what Ferrari did with Lewis Hamilton. In comes Max Verstappen as well to get rid of those soft tyres.
Yeah, even with a 3.5-second lead, Mercedes taking no chances there because the undercut is going to be so powerful because the deg is so high. So you start running around on 12-lap-old tyres, it's not great.
Russell does have track position. Russell is out at turn 1 ahead of Lewis Hamilton. They reacted at Mercedes, and that was key.
You wouldn't want another lap, though, would you? They had to do that. That's how powerful the undercut is there. Hamilton much closer, both out on the hard tyres, so he's covered off.
Those hard tyres aren't fired up fully for Russell as well until he goes about halfway round the lap, but he does have track position. And that lead evaporated. There is Hamilton having closed the gap by starting his pit stop sequence 1 lap before Russell, and Mercedes read the data perfectly. They've covered off Ferrari.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they decide to do with Antonelli, because he was running in the dirty air of Hamilton, but been able to stay close. But he'll drop back the longer he keeps running on those older tyres.
But if I'm Antonelli, keep me out. Please let me do something different to the top 2 that have just pitted. If he pits now, he'll fall into sync back into 3rd place. The problem he's going to get is this. McLaren will pit Norris, and that's going to force the issue potentially for Antonelli to stay out but lose track position. Let's see if McLaren can have a good stop here.
Norris and McLaren getting what they need, 2.2 seconds, exemplary.
So now that gets a braver call for Mercedes to leave Antonelli. Through goes your de facto race leaders still. Russell with Hamilton so close now on the hard tyre, a straight fight. And Antonelli will surely be jumped at this stage if Norris can do a really fast outlap here in the McLaren. So we will see if he bolts in to try and cover off the McLaren, or if he just takes matters into his own hands and goes long and long and long and on different strategy.
Hulkenberg is into the pit. Lindblad jumping over turn 1. Hulkenberg jumping over turn 1, cleared by race control. And something for the Spanish fans at turn 1 earlier on when we were going through the pit stop sequence. Fernando Alonso putting an overtake on Valtteri Bottas to give the crowd something to cheer for. Long way away from the points, but still so many getting a glimpse of a hero that has been here so often. It's his 23rd Grand Prix at this track.
I was managing him that first stint. You could have given me the heads up. You've exposed me to Kimi now.
I don't think it's going to be long for everyone.
I need an update on the plan then. We're moving towards Prix, do you think?
So still on plan here, George. Nothing to worry about here.
He's trying to read the race from the cockpit, of course, knowing that Antonelli had stayed out, but he's now decided to pit.
Antonelli had an advantage of 24 seconds. It needed to be a 2.6 second stop, and it was, because Norris would have had the advantage of the fresher rubber, and Antonelli had to react to what the McLaren driver did by pitting. Piastri is also in as well, and he rejoined. So Antonelli, there you go, crucially ahead of Lando Norris, and they had to react, otherwise the world champion would have jumped.
Yeah, Norris will be a little bit closer than he was, having made this pit stop a lap earlier. So are these fresher tyres going to improve his fortunes? Will he be able to push on to the back of Kimi, or will he just eke his way and use the advantage that they seem to have in their long run pace?
No one is able to extend this first stint. You've got the car's full of fuel, you've got high temperatures, Deg just getting worse and worse, that even Charles Leclerc now with track position doesn't want to do something too different, because he's just going to lose way too much pace. 24.0 basically for Leclerc on the last lap. That's 2 seconds slower than his teammate on fresh tyres.
And box Charles box, we have the gap to cover Piastri.
We don't care about Piastri. Let's look further ahead if we have the pace.
Okay, let me know on flat. We stay out this lap then, stay out this lap.
Always seems to be a consultation between driver and engineer and strategy department, and those tyres do not look in the best of nick, but Charles Leclerc goes around again. I mention that point because sometimes with other teams it's way more of an instruction to the driver. Hadjar is being called to the pit lane by Red Bull. Hadjar, who lost a lot of positions off the start line. Gearbox issue for Lance Stroll, who's the only retirement of the Grand Prix so far. George Russell will have the lead when Charles Leclerc is eventually called to get rid of those medium tyres. But again, as Pirelli suspected, start of the weekend, before we'd run a lap, soft and the medium, no real difference, both falling away dramatically. The hard is the more durable tyre. If the hard isn't durable, we are in for so many pit stops. As we see, Bortoleto is the driver who has been timed at the bottom of your picture. Hulkenberg is the driver in 12th position. Colapinto in 13th, and it's Gasly, and Bortoleto dropping down the order, having made his stop. Valtteri Bottas will become our second retirement in the Grand Prix, an issue for Cadillac. They had a brake failure with Bottas earlier in the weekend. Finally, Charles Leclerc is called in, so they extended by a lap, and now they've given the instruction.
Yeah, it felt very much like it was the race engineer agreeing with the driver, and then strategy have gone, you do realise you're losing 2 seconds a lap to what Hamilton is delivering on those fresher tyres. You just cannot afford to give away that amount of lap time.
Charles Leclerc making his stop, and he will trundle to the back of the main competing pack.
Well, let's see where he comes out in relation to Piastri then, that he cleared with that move earlier on. There's Oscar in the background. I think he's still going to cover him off there. That was enough pace on really old tyres there for Leclerc, and he does. So that's worked out really well for Ferrari. And pitting Hamilton when he did as well has worked out fairly well at this stage. Lewis obviously still close behind George Russell, now first and second, but with a nice buffer to Kimi Antonelli. 6 seconds between Hamilton and Antonelli by virtue of pitting 3 laps earlier. But now the advantage with Antonelli having the fresher tyres.
Oscar Piastri, winner of the Grand Prix here last year, in 7th place. Further back, more action. Hadjar has just cleared Liam Lawson. He improves to 10th place, trying to recover the positions that he lost at the start. We heard the instruction that Valtteri Bottas was going to retire, and that is the 3rd time this season the Finnish driver has failed to see the checkered flag as Cadillac get up and running in Formula One. And this is their 7th Grand Prix today. Bortoleto has just passed Alex Albon. Albon's start procedure infringement was timed before the start, so it will be whether he's parked up long or wide in his grid slot. George Russell's lead is 1.9 seconds. This is Isaac Hadjar making the pass. Slam dunk stuff down into turn number 1. It returns him to the points.
Big wide rear wing on the Red Bull. The upgrade they bought for Miami, and the rotisserie rear wing really does clear some air to go through and reduce the drag. And so it's nice that he got out of position at the start, because he's giving us a display of overtaking. Not there.
No one overtakes at turn 13, but we're seeing some moves that Isaac Hadjar would not have wanted to make at the start, but he's reclaiming those positions in unusual parts of the racetrack.
Slicing through Behrman like he's a back marker there.
Yeah, Behrman yet to pit, so those tyres absolutely shot at this stage. Lindblad, the other of the potential point scorers, running in the points right now, who's still to pit.
3 seconds away from those around him, though. So that's the risk of just staying out, is you are just hideously slow. You drive around, you wait for the car to turn, you can't get on the gas on the exit. Feels miserable, but you're cutting out a pit stop. So you save yourself 23 seconds if you can go long and make it a 2-stop instead of a 3. Sort of a big, steady defensive drive, effectively. Or you go attacking, you have a car that feels really nice underneath you, you have grip, you feel like you can make everyone else look really stupid by overtaking in the corners that you'd least expect an overtake, like this one. But you spend an extra 23 seconds coming through the pits, and that's it, that's the price.
I always find it's all relative, isn't it? Having a miserable time in a Formula One car with balance and tyre grip versus, you know, being at a wet kart track in Northampton or somewhere like that. It's all relative, but it's the nature, it's the selfish, hungry nature of the racer that you always want more.
What did you say yesterday, DC? It's Formula One, not Formula Fun. Liam Lawson's just got past Oliver Behrman, as has Hulkenberg, Colapinto and Gasly, because Behrman's long stint on the medium tyre is over. He's come into the pits.
Yeah, what, you're going to go to sunny Spain and drive a Formula One car and not enjoy yourself? Yeah. How dare you?
Never happy, though, are you racers? I say, saying that, Julian.
I thought you had directed that to one of us, DC.
Yeah, well, both of you. Yeah, you're a perfectionist, and Julian, I'm not convinced, isn't going to slip into his Nomex once again. He's young enough.
So that 19 and 66. George Russell leads by 1.9 seconds, but Lewis Hamilton is chasing another podium finish. He's got back-to-back second places. He's trying to win his first Grand Prix for Ferrari today. Resurgent Lewis Hamilton compared to last year, where he endured no escaping it. Worst year of his career. Wasn't on the podium once. Unthinkable for the driver who started his F1 career with a bold move on Fernando Alonso into turn 1 of lap 1 back in 2007.
He's been quite punchy, actually, in the media as well, Lewis. I think it was former Grand Prix driver Ralf Schumacher had made some comments on his performance, and Lewis unusually rose to it and said, well, he's making comments never having a world championship, and I've won 7.
Okay, Frank, as is an instruction, we need to switch cars into turn 1, please. Switch into turn 1.
Switch cars.
Hafer, into turn 4, please. Turn 4, switch the cars.
That's right. Still pushing.
They had a bit of a Barney about that in Austin last year, didn't they? That was not for points, and they, given the reliabilities, that looked like Kimi Antonelli going slightly deep into turn 10. Given the reliability this year, that could be points, even for Alpine, who are having, in their opinion, their toughest weekend of the year. They're really struggling with the long duration of the corners here, in comparison to the low-speed stuff in Montreal and Monaco, where they were on the podium, thanks to their right of appeal being reinstated. Third place for Pierre Gasly restored. That was the opening news of this Grand Prix weekend.
Well, nip and tuck for these guys at the front, Russell and Hamilton, but Antonelli is pushing those tyres harder, taking half a second lap out of Hamilton, so he's down to about 4.5 seconds now. You can see him just coming into our camera shot. So we're going to see Hamilton being the meat in the sandwich very soon.
Hamilton's keeping Russell very much in check out front still, within 2 seconds, just about 2 seconds back, as our overtaking maestro is going to have another run.
Yeah, we go back to the Isaac Hadjar highlight reel, and it's good enough for 8th place. So he has managed to restore the Red Bull to the minimum that he would have wanted after a really tricky opening lap where he just did not have the drive from the start line. Red Bull again struggling to get from their grid box into racing speed in this season. It's been a feature of the campaign. Still struggling once again, but he is at least now 8th position for the driver who finished 4th in Monaco.
Happy with pushing.
Hey, firm, Kimi. Good lap times.
Yeah, just confirmation there of that half a second. He's going faster each lap than Russell, or Grand Prix leader. Lindblad still yet to stop, so clearly targeting the 2 stop.
Another half a second for Antonelli out of Hamilton ahead. So you caught it coming through turn 10, leaning on it deep into the corner and using the fresher tyres to get on the throttle as well, with some sort of small sliding, even if they're all having to think slightly of the tyres with every one of these long duration corners. But Antonelli, because he pitted later, so he pitted 3 laps later than Hamilton, he pitted 2 laps later than Russell. You either conserve your tyres and go later again, or you just think, okay, I've got that advantage now, I've got more grip, so I'm just going to use it in this stint. And he is quickly shuffling himself back towards the tail of the Ferrari.
Antonelli, after qualifying, said that he had been pushing too much, especially in the final sector, that he believed his long run in FP2 gave him confidence that he could still fight for victory today. That was his thoughts after qualifying. He's got great pace at this stage. He's 5.8 seconds away from his teammate George Russell, who you're on board with in the left-hand side of your screen.
Russell through the final corner. That is one of those ones that just saps energy out of the tyres. So much speed, but then you need a decent exit. You need a decent minimum speed through there as well to not lose a huge amount of time. Where Lewis Hamilton ran out of energy and just went in a little bit hot in the final corner yesterday and qualified. Maybe cost himself a shot at pole. Rightfully delighted, though, with a place in the front row. I found it really interesting listening to Lewis in Parc Fermé. I've never heard a driver go blow by blow through their weekend in the detail that he did.
Especially between practice and qualifying. Needed a reset, got it.
It was fascinating. The mindset of, you know, what he was going through. Difficult weekend, get away from the track, clear your head, come back, find form. But then just he's so invested in this, giving all of the details. Sometimes drivers are there and they're not quite in their happy place. They're not giving huge elaborate answers. But Lewis is clearly loving his racing again, and it's showing.
Yeah, his performance is absolutely there. Just saw there that Carlos Sainz is going to be investigated after the race for a start procedure infringement as well. So I wonder if that's just a coincidence that it's both Williams cars. Can't imagine they both were well out of position. Both experienced drivers. You've got a nice big yellow line on the racetrack to know where to line your front wheel up with.
Surely it's something else than just grid slot positioning. Otherwise, our fantastic team of replay operators would have found that, and we'd have seen both Williams cars doing something. But the fact that it is both Williams cars, it says that it might be something else. And the fact it's investigated after the race, and we're on lap 24, says it might be something complex. But hey, it's always a shame to have an investigation that's gonna last the duration of the Grand Prix.
Just looking at the time codes that they've referred to, Albon's is for the formation lap, Sainz is for the Grand Prix start. So not exactly the same thing. Anyway, you can find out what happens to that one, like the Monaco Grand Prix, after the race.
Yeah, in the green flag lap starts, it's traditional that the mechanics push the car back. So let's say the sensor that predicts or tells us whether they've had a jump start or not probably doesn't pick up. And then it becomes active that they're in their proper box position for the start of the Grand Prix.
You're never going to jump the formation lap start, are you? You're going to find yourself carving through a stationary field.
That'd be very unusual if you did. Okay, really important battle now between Liam Lawson and Nico Hülkenberg, who's in your picture at the moment, and you're on board with him on the left-hand side. Lawson trying to hang on to the position. Gasly is going to join this battle as well. It's for the best of the rest positions now that Hadjar has restored himself to 8th place, and they're chasing the final 2 points paying positions. I can tell you, Lawson is running to time. He's running to an instructed time from his engineer on the radio. He said, I can't go any slower than this. I know I need to look after the tyres, but I can't go any slower than this. And that is why there's a queue of cars behind him.
Yeah, it was blocked off the attempt by Hülkenberg a little bit late into turn 1.
Right on the braking. Dangerous.
Yeah, if we get a replay of that, you're allowed to make one change of direction to defend. You're certainly not allowed to move in the braking. I guess you could claim that he just really needed an early apex.
It's almost like you've been in a meeting with the stewards before, DC.
You've got to try everything to avoid a penalty and try and keep a straight face while you're saying it.
Lando Norris is being told that McLaren are happy with the lap time and that they are going to their target lap.
It's not a bad lap time for Norris. He's the fastest man of the top 5 drivers, and he's also going with Antonelli to the back of the top 2 as well. So the gap's really, really tightening. Russell had caught some traffic. He's just cleared Alex Albon. He's got Ollie Behrman to lap as well coming up. So that's 18th and 17th position, and he's still got Hamilton, Antonelli, and then Norris here, all with a long shot. Let's see, when we go through the final corner, you look up the road, there's your race leader with Lando. So it's going pretty well for McLaren here in terms of pace. Can they just close up and make something work in the pit stops? Nice shot of your top 4, isn't it? Sweeping through the S's at the start of this.
All trying something different, as we can see Alex Albon is the driver making way, and he will get the blue flags and has to respond to them as the field make their way through. Russell trying to win his first Grand Prix of the season since the season opener. Lewis Hamilton trying to emulate Michael Schumacher and win his first Grand Prix for Ferrari at this venue. Antonelli trying to make it 6 in a row. Norris trying to win his first Grand Prix as world champion. That's the state for the top 4. This is what Hülkenberg was complaining in the battle for 9th.
It's fine for me, that. It's fine. It's frowned upon, as you say, DC, but I think there's enough margin and he's not super aggressive with it. It's maybe a sort of warning, slap on the wrist style, but it's not a penalty to me, that.
Yeah, it was Hülkenberg wasn't right in the passing zone. It was more a case of sort of showing his nose. But yeah, I agree, there won't be any action taken on one. If you were systematically doing that repeatedly, then you would definitely catch the attention of the stewards.
Arvid Lindblad getting past Esteban Ocon, left-hand side of your screen. He's up to 15th place. And next up the road, Gabriel Bortoleto.
Underbalanced for George Russell, so he's got understeer. Effectively, he wants more front wing. That is code to the, or not a very great code, to his race engineer Marcus Dudley to say, when we come in for the next stop, make sure you crank on some more front wing angle, because you start driving around with understeer, you're going slow. You want to, obviously, the most neutral balance you can get, especially for these long, reasonably fast corners, fast medium speed. The more you have to sit there on the apex and rotate the car, the longer you wait to get on the throttle, the slower you have to go through the apex. And then the more you can hurt that left front tyre as well, which can be a limitation around here. So Russell giving the feedback, but at the moment the pace looks okay for him, and he's just starting to eke away from Hamilton. And Antonelli's getting ever closer to that 1 second window.
George Russell trying to re-establish himself in the championship fight today, having failed to score in any of the last 2 Grand Prix.
Yeah, Hamilton cleared Behrman there at a nice spot, so Ollie Behrman's just sitting in front between the 2 drivers vying for second place at the moment, and still through turn 12. Will Behrman sit ahead of Antonelli for the final couple of turns as well? He's going to. Oh, no, he's going to pit in. No, he's not. He's just going to jump out of the way very, very kindly for Kimi Antonelli.
Lewis Hamilton has been called to the pit lane. He was losing time to George Russell, and the man who came first from those contending for victory to the pits last time around does so again. Say goodbye to those 1 stops and say hello to multiple stops for Lewis Hamilton. 2.6 seconds and fresh tyres once again.
So once again, do Mercedes cover this off? Because you're not going to make the end of the race on this. That is a 3-stopper locked in for Hamilton, especially with the fact that he's bolted on some mediums. Do Mercedes take the bait, or do they stay out thinking that they're doing the right thing? Surely they've got to take the bait here with Russell, and then that'll throw the question for Antonelli's side of the garage.
Yeah, I would definitely cover it off. They've got to believe in their pit stops. They had, what was it, just under 3 seconds. Hamilton's going to be nailing this like a qualifying lap.
Should still be enough with a tidy pit stop from Mercedes, but it will be close enough. It'll keep the team on their toes down there in the pit lane.
Not much margin. It's always a high-pressured moment for the crew that practice so many times to get things right, and they practice for moments like this. You've got a 7-time world champion, a 6-time winner of the Spanish Grand Prix, finding himself on the attack at this point. Will Mercedes respond?
He is lighting this up, by the way. He's 1.6 seconds quicker than Russell through the middle sector on this in-lap. This is a big, big outlap from Hamilton. Look at him sliding into 12.
And no response from Russell. Russell goes around again.
So Hamilton now is going to have to clear these 2 very, very quickly. One's a back marker that will jump out of the way. The other one is Oscar Piastri for race position. If he clears him here into turn 1, this could be Lewis Hamilton in the net lead of the race in a lap time.
He's right on the brink, and Hamilton can't get there. He will clear Sergio Perez, and Hamilton's electric outlap is interrupted by Piastri.
To update, Lewis will be on a 3. We are still racing at Norris, so we need to keep these lap times going.
Around the outside, like he wasn't even there. Old tyres versus new. Hamilton finds himself into 6th position, and the timing page says he's 22 seconds back now.
Net lead of the race, Lewis Hamilton. So if Mercedes want to pit Russell right now, they will come out behind the leading Ferrari here. It's a big call. They stayed out. Maybe they thought it was too close with the way that Hamilton was pushing on that outlap. Ferrari have seized an initiative. Is it the right one? We will have to wait and see what Russell can do, but his pace right now is not amazing. And look, Antonelli is now 2.2 seconds. Here we go. The 2 Mercedes now separated by not very much.
It's going to give me black and white flag for track limits, so no more of those, please. Otherwise, it's a 5-second penalty.
He has been warned. Well, I think what Mercedes have obviously looked at is how Antonelli was coming onto the back of Lewis Hamilton. So although they know they're going to lose track position, they're banking on fresher tyres, better pace, and an ability to catch and pass the Ferrari.
Hamilton is 2.5 seconds quicker than Russell on that lap. So this is a 2-stop via 3-stop, surely, at this stage. And Hamilton now has just got to go pedal to the metal every lap from here on in and make the difference on what should be fresher tyres, and Mercedes staying out. And they are a bit between a rock and a hard place because Norris is doing a good job in the McLaren as well. So if you try and cover off Hamilton, you might open the door for Norris to do something different, or split the cars and Antonelli wins and Russell's left furious.
We have seen it before. We were discussing the big races. Oh, that's right on the limit for Kimi Antonelli through turn 10. Remember, if he goes all 4 wheels beyond the white line at any point, at any corner on the racetrack for the remainder of the race, it's a 5-second penalty.
Look how close the Mercedes are, though, 1.1 seconds as they come through the final turn, and loads more traffic for Russell to have to deal with. Antonelli senses, right, he's taking risk at turn 10 there. That was on the line. He cannot afford to get the penalty, but he is closing in with fresher tyres, remember, 2 laps fresher than Russell. This is his chance to win this Grand Prix.
Yeah, it's nothing for him to lose in as much that, yes, he's pushing the tyres harder, but if it doesn't work, he'll default back into third place, which is where he was. This is great attacking driving from Kimi, and well, providing he can keep his track limits in check, this is putting pressure on George.
Huge pressure. And what do Mercedes do? Pit Russell? Then you're handing it to Hamilton as well. So they have to stay out with Russell. They have to kind of let them fight it at this stage.
It is a fascinating moment in the destiny of the Formula One World Championship. Mercedes, for so much of the season, were 1 and 2. Lewis Hamilton climbing to second place in the standings as a result of his second place in the last Grand Prix, a Grand Prix that George Russell did not score points in.
Sainz does not get out of the way at turn 10. So here we go then. Russell having to follow a slow, heavy Williams. It's a lap down through 12. Where will Sainz jump out of the way? Because this is dirty air territory and Russell is struggling out of 12.
I'm going Antonelli for the pass into 1.
Here we go then. The two rivals for the title, not separated by much, 0.6 of a second. As we roar up to 200 miles per hour, George Russell will check the right-hand mirror and see Antonelli is right there. All the while, Hamilton has got the gap down to 15 seconds already.
He's absolutely flying. This race has just been blown wide open. Hamilton's going to get a pass on Leclerc, who'll jump out of the way. Here we go. Meanwhile, I think Russell was using energy from his battery there to make sure he stayed clear of Antonelli into turn 1. Antonelli is within overtake mode. Within that 1 second.
Let me know what times I need to do. 20.9, Charlie's in fourth. You have a different strategy.
He's been given a 20.9. Last time, a 120.7. Vintage Lewis Hamilton behind the wheel.
The more these guys fight, the better it gets for Hamilton as well. Norris is not a mile away, but he is just dropping back with Antonelli picking up the pace. Slow it down through 10. That's where it gets tight with track limits, but he's okay. He's okay, DC.
Oh my goodness, I can't take the stress of that, actually. I think I'll take my glasses off and just wait for the updates.
Nothing between them. How much speed can Antonelli take through the high-speed turns of 13 and 14?
Oh, Russell's, I think he's got nothing left to defend here. He's running out of energy at the end of the lap.
Kimi Antonelli trying to inflict more pain on George Russell's championship aspirations. The Italian teenager all over the back of his teammate. A defensive-shaped throne, but the position held at the moment. And look, almost soaring away at his teammate's car. Kimi Antonelli, more speed, more grip, but Russell hangs on to the lead for the moment.
Well, brilliant racing, but all of this playing into the hands of Hamilton, assuming he can keep that pace up on those tyres.
Right, it's big defence from Russell. It's big defence at a huge moment. The championship is on the line between these two. Antonelli's won 5 races in a row. Russell's had the pace all weekend, and he is ahead of his teammate, but he's having to use all of that nous to hold him back. So it looked like he was slowing, running out of energy, but I think he was just harvesting through those fast final turns, allowed Antonelli to get so close, and then just thought, okay, I'm going to have to defend brutally on the track, which he did. And he's going to surely have to do the same again here, because Antonelli once again is close. He's got a load of grip on the tyres that are slightly fresher than Russell's, and George has a little bit less energy to use around the lap, so he's going to have to conserve it.
Give me a reminder for track limits. Let's not take any risks.
He was nearly fully over the apex at turn number 1. He was trying to cut back, to do the switchback move. He's got so much confidence at the moment. 5 Grand Prix victories in a row for Kimi Antonelli. Trying to keep that run going, trying to pass George Russell. Russell, who started as the heavy championship favourite, and Antonelli, who has upended the script for 2026. All the while, these two run 0.6 of a second away. Lewis Hamilton is 11 seconds away from this battle. You need 23 for a pit stop at this circuit.
He is still 2.5 seconds quicker per lap on the fresher tyres. So they're holding out here, the two Mercedes, for a time where they can pit and get to the end of the race. And Hamilton is just clawing himself back into the mix, and if he catches the back here, he'll make mincemeat of them on the fresher tyres. It's working out really well at the moment for Ferrari.
DC, have you put your glasses back on?
I have, because meanwhile, back in this, well, I think it's been...
Am I catching now? You are catching really well. Keep Keep pushing, keep pushing.
Hide your excitement.
Play it cool on the radio, Carlo Santi.
Yeah, catching them hand over fist, and yeah, Hamilton has found his form. And as you said, Julian, this is working out really well for Ferrari, and well, Hollywood as well.
It won't be long for George. We are at risk from Norris behind, 3.9 seconds.
This is like a movie script, isn't it? The comeback from Ferrari, the form of Hamilton.
Oh,
it's kind of like
race.
Rocky meets what? Rocky meets.
Well, we'll have to see the ending first. On lap 35 of 66, it is an epic. It's reminiscent of 2016 when it was a 2-stop versus a 3-stop, 4 drivers in the mix for the win that day, and it turned out to be a teenager who won then. It was Max Verstappen's first.
Let's not slow each other down racing. We need to keep that gap to Norris nice and healthy, now at 4.3.
All the ingredients coming together on lap 35. We've still got 30 laps of this to unfold, and Bono clearly trying to just deter his driver from pushing George too much, because Mercedes are realizing here there's a double threat still. First of all, if Norris pits, they're going to have to pit Antonelli to cover off the McLaren, and that will call off the fight temporarily here. But then you've got Hamilton now almost on the back of Norris, and Antonelli here is as close as he's been through these final couple of corners.
McLaren in the pit lane. Is this for Norris?
Battles everywhere you look, on track, in the pit lane, on the pit wall. Lando Norris is coming to the pit lane. In the slipstream is Kimi Antonelli. George Russell checking that mirror, and no chance for the lunge to the inside of turn number 1. But George Russell is one lockup away from seeing the race lead expire. Big pressure pit stop for McLaren. They get what they need. 2.6 seconds gives them a chance, and Antonelli is just trying to make himself as large as possible in his teammates' mirrors.
But that is surely going to be the time to pit a Mercedes. It's going to be Russell because he's still in the lead, so he has to cover off Norris. If Antonelli pits, he'll obviously jump Russell. So the classic here is to give priority to the lead driver, but he needs it, George Russell, because he's running out of grip here, and he's falling more into the clutches of his teammate. So then Antonelli will run long, will try and gain the tyre offset, will probably lose position here to Norris unless he can do a blinder in clear air on the next lap, and then he'll have to put all this pressure on again later in the race.
What an amazing list of ingredients for an epic Grand Prix here in Barcelona. Russell has kept Antonelli at bay, but Antonelli's confidence that it was a one-lap problem and not a race stint problem has been borne out by that stint, and now a high-pressure pit stop for Mercedes, because here comes the race leader, George Russell, coming into the pits, and this is a race victory-defining stop ahead.
Yeah, this has been some uncomfortable laps for George as he was struggling in those tyres. He'll be looking for a typically slick stop from Mercedes, which he gets.
Didn't see them go for a front flap change as well as he came in. It was either so seamless that I missed it, but out he goes. So Hamilton is miles ahead.
After all of that, Lewis Hamilton is 4.7 seconds off the back of Kimi Antonelli. No exaggeration to see, as Russell covers off Lando Norris, and that's crucial for him that he marks off the McLaren.
But what pace does Antonelli have? Because Antonelli would also love to pit and come between Russell and Norris here. He doesn't want to have to pass the McLaren.
It won't be long, Kimi. Got to cover Norris.
Pete Bonington explaining as he goes to driver and us, and Antonelli being told it won't be long.
And that's the best news for George Russell as well. You want...
Oh, my word. That is a brilliant angle to show you how close Antonelli is flirting with a 5-second penalty.
Yeah, and he's going to come to the pits. We can see from our commentary box, Mercedes are there nice and early.
And so in comes Kimi Antonelli. It was 2.6 seconds for George Russell. He comes down to the pit lane speed limit.
It's going to be tight with Norris. This has to be pinpoint.
And Russell finding himself with traffic. Russell with the Haas in the way is not what he needed at that stage. 2.8 for Antonelli, but how much did the Haas cost George Russell? Lewis Hamilton to the race lead. George Russell out of the final corner, and we wait to see for Antonelli. Russell is making his way by.
Watch for Norris. Norris is the driver, so Russell's through. Antonelli looks like he's going to just cover him off.
It's going to be tight. Norris's tyres are fired up. He'll have better grip off this corner. It's not done yet for Kimi Antonelli. He will have to keep Norris at bay into turn 4. We go on board with the reigning world champion and use all of the energy that you've got. And he gets by. They clear the Haas. Russell maintains the advantage over Antonelli. Norris is covered off. And Lewis Hamilton leads on a medium tyre, having put together such an attacking stint.
That's a lot of fun, that stint of the race, DC.
Yeah, Hamilton will be loving this. He'll be on the radio saying, how big is the gap? I can play with that. Can I keep this pace pushing? His last time around, 20.9. So he's been banging in the target times. And the degradation seems under control on that Ferrari.
So he's going to have to pit again, though, Hamilton. There's not a chance he can get to the end of the race on that medium tyre. The Mercedes now will go to the end of the race on their hard tyres there. So Hamilton, with the nice buffer, is going to lose it by taking a pit stop. And then he's going to have to roar up and pass them on the track.
Just race guide for you, though. Hamilton's advantage over George Russell, 16 seconds. If there was a virtual safety car or a full safety car, you only lose 13 seconds when you make your stop. So an intervention there could change the lead of the race.
Yeah, all the information says he'll not be able to make it to the end of the Grand Prix. But we have had the odd occasion, Monza with Leclerc, where they've managed to...
We are planning other 7 laps on this set. This is our race, give everything these 7 laps. It's the critical moment, we have our chance.
Confirmation that they will. I was trying to conjure up a moment that he might try and hold on right to the end. I'm still in the Rocky mode, you know, doing something that no one can believe. But, well, 7 more laps and he'll be pitting.
A Lewis Hamilton win for Ferrari is rocky enough around this circuit. I mean, it's on the cards. They know it, don't they? He's given himself a golden opportunity with a good strategy and fantastic pace. Leclerc could do him a favour by hanging on and just slowing Russell down a little bit through turn 12. I think he's doing that.
My word, there wasn't a huge gap. That was for position, and so Charles Leclerc was entirely allowed to do that, and George Russell using the superior grip and getting through. Leclerc coming into the pits. His weekend undone by a qualifying crash. And hey, look, they're barely separated at all once again. Antonelli's 0.4 of a second away from getting overtake mode. George Russell has a 16-second deficit to Lewis Hamilton, who does have to stop again. He's been told by his race engineer, these laps will define the day.
Yeah, for Mercedes right now, they don't want their drivers racing and losing time over these next few laps. It's a tough one, isn't it, if Antonelli feels he's got the pace to try and call that off, but you just need clean, fast laps to try and have as much margin for when Hamilton stops and then comes out on fresh tyres.
Yellow flag. Yellow flag could change things.
And we are forecast to be battling with Lewis end of race on that 3-stop.
Fernando Alonso is stationary at turn 9. Where is he? Can they recover the car? Because if they can't recover the car, look at the gap, it's 15 seconds. He's pulled to the side of the road. Race control have a call to make here. This could hand Lewis Hamilton the advantage in the race. You would lose 13 seconds with a clean stop behind the virtual safety car, which is deployed. And where is Hamilton? Hamilton has gone beyond the pits. An extraordinary moment.
But that VSC is going to be out for a little while yet. Hamilton could get the chance to have a cheap pit stop, come out on fresh tyres in the lead of the race. Fernando getting out fairly steadily from another tough day with Aston Martin.
There's the confirmation of how much time you lose under the safety car or virtual safety car. Lewis Hamilton is at turn 4. How long this virtual safety car is out could define who wins.
It's not Spa, it's not the longest lap on the calendar. He'll get another chance to come in soon. The VSC means he won't catch a physical safety car either. So Verstappen takes the gain. 11 seconds you win by pitting under a VSC compared to pitting at full speed. And Hamilton is coming past Fernando Alonso's stricken car now. If Ferrari were excited before, they will be excited even more right now. They'll be brimming with it.
Hamilton is at turn number 9. The marshals recovering the car is going to define whether Hamilton gets a cheap pit stop, makes the stop, gets fresher tyres and maintains the race lead. Still it's out. He's at turn 11.
Verstappen just jumps clear of Leclerc with that gain as well, so they were racing up to the safety car line, but I think Charles was at the absolute limit of what he could do. Here we go with Hamilton.
Ferrari aren't out in the pit lane as yet. There would be no harm for them to be ready just in case, and they are moving. Ferrari are coming to the pit lane.
Here they come. This is what they dreamt of. This is the exact scenario they were looking for. And he is going to get the benefit of coming in, changing tyres whilst everyone is at restricted speed, and that will gain him enormously. Ferrari need a clean pit stop, but George Russell at restricted speed, Lewis Hamilton hitting his marks. He hasn't won a Grand Prix for Ferrari. His old rival breaking down might just change that. He's back out into the fast lane, no need to take the risk. And George Russell is making his way by, but Lewis Hamilton is clearing onto the circuit, and we are now racing to the control line at reduced speed. Lewis Hamilton's looking for the white line that defines him as the race leader.
And now the VSC is ending. That couldn't have been better for Lewis Hamilton, who has the freshest tyres, a very fast car, and as we go back under green conditions, oh, that was seamless for him.
And you are in front.
The news that he dreamt of, the timing there was going to be everything. Fernando Alonso broke down, and in the time it took to recover the Aston Martin, Lewis Hamilton gets the benefit of stopping under the virtual safety car. He lost 13 seconds, not 23. Pumped. Lewis Hamilton.
He's been on it, hasn't he? From qualifying, getting on the front row. He's been great for the last few weekends as well. All year he's been superb, second in the championship. And he leads for Ferrari with 24 laps to go.
And he's got the pace. He's got the pace to bring this home. And it's going to be interesting to see what happens in that battle behind with Russell and Antonelli. But those fresh, hard tyres will just feel so sweet to Hamilton right now.
Also, DC, you've got George Russell, there he is, second place, looking at the back of the Ferrari. Does he go all guns blazing to catch Hamilton at risk of falling into the hands of his teammate? Who's the bigger threat here for Russell in the big picture?
Well, it's his teammate, clearly. Absolutely got to keep Antonelli behind. It'll only be a small point swing, but the season is long.
Lewis Hamilton has been told he's got 5 laps fresher tyres to George Russell. Kimi Antonelli finds himself behind Russell, behind Hamilton. Hamilton is second in the World Championship in terms of points. He took that position in the last Grand Prix, and he's taking 10 points out of Kimi Antonelli as it stands. He's taking 7 points out of George Russell as it stands. Hamilton going aggressive, going for the 3-stop, and the benefit of the Aston Martin breaking down and the 10 seconds that he saved gives him the race lead on lap 43 of 66.
So it's obviously a fortuitous break here for Hamilton, but it's broken the other way already this year, hasn't it? Think of Antonelli's win in Japan. Think of Mercedes in general in Melbourne.
24 laps remaining. That's the race up ahead of you. Got 1.3 behind.
Well, that's the giddy up. Yeah, sorry, he's going to say that. His engineer's definitely saying, you've got to go for it.
And he's not only behind, but he's on 4 laps worse tyres. And on a day where tyre deg is big, that's not insignificant there for Russell. So it's a double whammy for Mercedes.
He was given the gap to his teammate. He wasn't given the gap to the race leader. That says where Mercedes are at the moment. George Russell, who was under enormous pressure in the middle stint of this Grand Prix. But it is a Grand Prix that has come alive. There is a Lewis Hamilton moment. The yellow flag infringement has been noted. That's a message from race control.
So, not wanting to be a Monday morning, what is it, quarterback, the expression.
Yeah.
But that battling that Kimi and Russell were doing could have made the difference with the time loss in that little battle between Russell coming out in front of Hamilton. I know no one could know. Well, you could probably know the Aston was not going to finish, but you wouldn't know the virtual safety car was going to fall correctly for Hamilton. But the margins are so tight in those sorts of moments.
How would you have played it differently there, DC, if you're on the pit wall for Mercedes?
Yeah, I don't have an answer for you. I'm just stating the fact that when you're on a day where you knew Ferrari could be a threat, letting your guys race, played into their hands.
Yeah, absolutely. There was a bid in play when you saw how close it was to the safety car line. But the bigger factor was that Russell was quite slow at that stage. If you were with no championship in mind, you were sitting on the Mercedes pit wall and you just said, all you have to do is win this race, you'd have hoiked Russell out of the way and said, Antonelli, go and make sure you're getting the fastest race time. But these guys they're fighting for a championship with each other. So you're never going to have them helping one another to win a race here. It's bigger picture than that for Mercedes. For Ferrari, it's not. It's about winning races right now. If Hamilton comes closer to the championship later in the year, there'll be a load more questions in play for them. But right now for Mercedes, the picture is tougher than it is for Ferrari because they've got two contenders, like McLaren last year. They want to play it fairly between the two. They have done that so far, but possibly at the cost of allowing Hamilton the chance to come through.
Yeah, Hamilton absolutely supreme out front, 7/10 quicker than Russell, opening that gap out. And I've got to say, if he converts this victory, not only is it absolutely deserved, it's just going to be so much more comfortable, because to have pointed out the facts of the difficult couple of years he's had, it's been uncomfortable for such a great champion. This display is, I think you used the words vintage Hamilton earlier, Alex. It's been a stunning drive, and it just makes it so much easier to praise a 7-time world champion than to criticise one.
He was asking Fred Vasseur for a change of brake material earlier in the year. He had to ask Fred Vasseur over the winter for a change of race engineer as well. Ferrari have given him the tools. He has spoken in recent times about how much happier he is with his side of the garage, and he is a driver rejuvenated in 2026.
I can hear, sorry, Jolene, I don't want to tempt fate, but I can sort of hear the jet in Los Angeles being fired up, and Kim getting on the aircraft ready to fly into his arms, celebrate his first victory for Ferrari.
It would be a landmark that looked a long way from happening last year when he didn't stand on the podium in a Grand Prix, let alone on the top step.
It's been 2 years really, hasn't it? Because his last year with Mercedes was not easy. His first year with Ferrari was certainly tougher last year. And then there was all this start of the year, Melbourne, back fighting, looking great. China, really strong, back on the podium for Ferrari. And you wondered if he could make it last through a season, which he couldn't do last year. The answer is quite clearly yes. This is Hamilton back at his absolute best, on form, and now stroking it through to a 5-second lead. As the laps tick down, there is a potential investigation somewhere in there for him, but with the pace that he's got, he can build up that buffer to more than a penalty distance anyway.
Yeah, Hamilton, the incident involving him has been noted for a yellow flag infringement, and the time was at 2 minutes to the hour, so the yellow flag infringement is key for Lewis Hamilton, but also key, he's got over a 5-second lead right now, so if he did get a penalty, he would still be the winner as it stands.
It's a home run for him right now. Best tyres in the top pack, with the safety car timing to give him that big buffer that he gained there, 11 seconds difference. Without the safety car, this would have been a really close race, and Ferrari sensed there was a big opportunity. With it, it is now gilt edge for Hamilton to bring this home.
George Russell will have had a couple of laps now to digest what's happened. Kimi Antonelli running in third place. Lando Norris only 1.6 seconds away from Kimi Antonelli. And then Verstappen in fifth. Charles Leclerc's climbed 4 positions from where he started the Grand Prix. The rest of the point scorers, Piastri, Hadjar, and then it's Gasly and Colapinto. They've struggled all weekend long. Remember what we said earlier in the race about switching them over? There was a chance of points. At the moment, they are occupying those points-paying positions. That timing, absolutely vital at the front and at the lower reaches of the points.
Yeah, they're nip and tuck on lap time, Russell, Antonelli and Norris, so it feels a bit of a stalemate there as Hamilton continues to open out that gap, running a full 3/4 of a second faster. And, well, at the other end of the points-paying positions, it's a good day for Alpine out of a difficult weekend for them if they can get both their cars to the points-paying positions.
We didn't really cover it off at the time, but Nico Hülkenberg retired in the Audi. Still no points this year. Penalty at the end of the race in Monaco. So many times he started 11th, had miserable getaways and plenty of poor reliability as well. Today was looking like a really brilliant chance for him to get some points on the board for Audi, who desperately need it. But 8 laps ago, he brought it in as the Mercedes were doing battle.
News from the stewards. The incident involving Lewis Hamilton has been reviewed. There is no further investigation. And 30 years on from a driver who turned out to be an all-time great with 7 world championships to his name, scored his first win for Ferrari here. We find ourselves with Lewis Hamilton staring at exactly the same scenario. He leads George Russell, his old teammate, by 6.5 seconds. Last time around, he did a 1:20.3. He is reveling in the race lead right now.
He's still got a battle on our hands for second place, though. Antonelli, you could see the way he was getting out on the throttle through turn 2, trying to keep your foot in, build that momentum through 2 and then 3 where you're feathering it through. And he was lighting up the rears, certainly taking plenty out of the rear axle there, Kimi, as he's homing in on Russell's second place. This is the fight. His line as well at turn 10. If you're Pete Bonington on the radio, I don't know how many times you can warn him about that track limits, but every time he goes through there, he carries so much speed in. It looks like he's sailing wide, but he just gets it onto that white line.
Oliver Behrman on the brakes, takes 14th position. And makes his way through.
And Landemar race is having better pace over the whole stint than the cars ahead.
I just did pace, so like I either go with them or I drop back and just go. So I can't do both, I'm afraid.
So Norris wants to know if he's racing now or later with the Mercedes. There he is, behind the 2 Mercedes. You can see from that previous shot exactly that line for Antonelli out of turn 10. Once again, bang on the white line, maximising the track width. So if you go now, if Norris stays with the 2 Mercedes, he's going to be hurting his tyres. Does he play it patient? Does he drop back, save the tyres and hope that these guys fight with each other as they did earlier on and start to fall into trouble? And that would be Lando's chance of coming through for a podium. It seems there's a bit of indecision there between driver and pit wall.
Looking at Lewis Hamilton, left-hand side of your picture. The driver, 41 years of age. Looking at another moment of Formula One history. If he can stay where he is for the final stages, he is the oldest driver to win a Grand Prix since Jack Brabham in 1970. It is not usual to run at the front this late into your career, and once a sports star, no matter how many wins they get, no matter how many titles they have, gets to 40, you know that there aren't that many moments, but Hamilton has come back fighting this year.
So Lando, at the end of the race, I want to be within of Kimi ahead. He's got 3 strikes already.
There was a dropout in the radio there, so I heard at the end of the race them referencing the 3 strikes. Did you pick up the middle part?
Yeah, it's going to be stay within 5 seconds in case Kimi gets a penalty.
Okay, well that answers his previous question about push now or push later.
But he's going to be enticed very, very soon because Antonelli is getting ever closer to that 1 second window where he'll pick up a little bit more energy with overtake mode being enabled, and he can go hunting after George Russell again. So Norris is getting close to Antonelli on that. They're all bunching up behind Russell, who's just having another race of not quite having the pace of his teammate, it looks like, at this stage. There's a nice shot to show Hamilton now just breezing away in a race lead that has been a long time coming for him with Ferrari, but it's been so well executed today.
Yeah, absolutely brilliant. You know, full second and 3/10 quicker the last lap. It feels like this is back to the future. Flawless performance, little bit of safety car, virtual safety car luck, but that is how the cookie crumbles.
There you go, DC. You got the second movie you were looking for.
Oh yeah, of course. Rocky and Back to the Future.
15 laps to go. You are doing a good job, so you can go on.
You're doing a good job. You're doing a brilliant job.
They were asking him to measure his pace because he was tearing away from Russell and they were worried about tyre degradation. He metered it back for a couple of laps and they've gone, you know what, do what you do best out front. He is 8.9 seconds away.
Ding dong, second place here. Less than a second between Russell and Antonelli. So Round 2 coming right up between the two Mercedes. Norris is going to be just desperate for something to happen so he can pick up the pieces there as well, and he'll soon join the party. And Antonelli will sense, even if he's second here, but he's beaten his teammate, this will be a huge roaring success for Kimi Antonelli. Russell from pole will have been desperate to win, to stop the difficult run of races. That's going to be going away from him with Hamilton.
Gap at 0.9, 1.3 behind.
I have so much more pace for it.
Copy that, Kimi.
You're not getting team orders.
Confidence of that young man. It's fantastic to hear.
He's not got much margin on the way through the exit of turn 10, but he's judging it perfectly every single lap. And he's telling the team that he's got more pace.
We'll need to pick up the pace here, George.
Nothing back. Nothing back there, because Russell will very much know his teammate is looming larger in the mirrors. 8 tenths will continue to come down. He's not going to be close enough this time around for Antonelli, but it doesn't stop him wafting around, trying to get the distraction tactics in place for Russell, who was slightly hot into turn 1 as well. Antonelli with smoother lines on the exit of 2, and he is once again bearing down on his teammate and title rival.
Yeah, George just having to use more road. All his lines a bit longer, a bit wider, and Kimi using less of the road. It just feels that we're not hearing anything from Mercedes that tells us they're not racing.
He doesn't have the pace, does he?
And it's quite clear that Antonelli's been off track more than 3 times. We've reported it to the FIA. We expect he should get at least a 5-second penalty.
Well, that's interesting from McLaren. They're very, very confident that Antonelli's going to get a penalty and drop off the podium here. If that is the case, oh my word, he's dancing to the edge. But he's keeping a margin of Pirelli rubber on the circuit.
I've not seen him go off. I've seen him do that every single time. There we go. I mean, the confidence of him, on the apex of 30. He is always a driver that extends the track widths on the entries to corners, on the apexes, more than plenty of others. But to my eyes, he's been doing it perfectly. McLaren will have a swarm of engineers and technicians, replay operators, everyone just having a little look to see what is going on with Antonelli's onboard and keeping probably just a basic tally chart of what's going on to dob him in there to the race stewards, and they're going to try their utmost for the meanwhile. It's race on still between the two Mercedes.
It's been a real rough season for Lando Norris, who's had the retirements in the last 2 Grand Prix. He didn't start the 2nd Grand Prix of the year. He's only been on the podium once since he won the title in Abu Dhabi. If he stays within 5 seconds and McLaren's prediction comes true, Antonelli, according to our screen from race control, has not even been noted for a 4th, and that would be a penalty if he was able to go over the white lines again. But not noted, according to race control, at the moment. We get into the latter stages of a Grand Prix that was defined by George Russell getting a good start off the line. It was a poor start for Isaac Hadjar, who had to recover places. He has managed to get back up to 8th position. Mercedes very close together, as they still are. Tried a 2-stop. Hamilton went attacking, all-out attack on a 3-stop. And when Fernando Alonso broke down, Hamilton was able to get the benefit of pitting under the virtual safety car, and he has left the silver arrows behind.
The gap now 11 seconds, Hamilton to Russell. I think without the VSC, Hamilton wins this race. I think Ferrari opted for the correct strategy. 3-stop, it got him into fresh air, and he'd still be able to use the pace. He'd have to clear all these 3 cars, so that would be the challenge. But he was 2 seconds a lap quicker. You'd just do that around this circuit. So, I mean, it's become a gift for him to have the safety car and have this luxury, as you can see top left of your screen there, just having clear air. Lewis Hamilton knows how to bring a car home. I think he was doing this regardless today. I think Ferrari have played a blinder.
I think I can't disagree with that, and I think McLaren will be feeling this is better than we expected. They were sort of downbeat going into the Grand Prix, not really expecting to be able to mix it with Mercedes, but they have. The pace of the car on the long runs has worked for them, and I don't disagree that Kimi could probably run a little bit quicker if he wasn't in the constant dirty air of George. doesn't have enough to make the difference. Look at his neck as he goes through the high-speed corners. Welcome to old-school racing, Kimi. Your neck is done at this stage. He's leaning it up against the side of the chassis.
It's dropping back a little bit as well. For the last couple of laps, it's been a few tenths. It's 3 tenths this time around as Antonelli, you can just see him struggling to hang on. Less downforce this year. Theoretically, slower through the fast stuff, but Antonelli quite clearly running out of neck strength towards the end of this. It's a brutal circuit with fast right-handers, and 56 laps into a Grand Prix, it's obviously making a difference. You can see the way that he can carry his neck one side and not so well the other.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see here at 7. Not a really high-speed corner, but does he have to lean it in here as well?
It's going the other way, though, isn't it?
Yeah,
the left-handers they're easy. The right-handers, you've just got nothing left.
I don't know about you, Jolene, but if I had to lean my head, then I really struggle to see the racetrack because it changed my perspective.
Yeah, it is a different perspective. Your eyes are just focused on a slightly different point with a slightly different angle, and we're looking for millimetre perfect lines from Antonelli, the way that he's driving particularly. So that was going to be my next point. Right, he's clearly tiring in the cockpit. That seems to be the case. That's going more and more leaning out. He's done a quick lap this time around, so it's not slowing him down right now as he gets back towards 1 second to George. But he has to be so precise. And when this is such a physically demanding racetrack, there's a lot in play here. That's another element there for Kimi.
Hamilton continually running fast lap times. Yes, his tyres are a little bit fresher and he's on the hard, but there should still be a little bit of degradation. And, well, second a lap quicker than George Russell. Gap, as you can see, almost 13 seconds.
His last Grand Prix win was in Belgium 2024, but it came after the disqualification for George Russell. His last true Grand Prix victory, the extraordinary scenes at Silverstone in 2024, where all the British drivers led the race. Max Verstappen chased him all the way home. He's only 2 seconds away. It was an extraordinary wet, dry Grand Prix as well. And it has been a while since Hamilton has been able to have that euphoric moment of crossing the line to win a Grand Prix. The bombshell move of going to Ferrari, leaving Mercedes behind, and he's had to watch Mercedes build a rocket ship, but somehow in Spain, a circuit where he has triumphed 6 times before in a Grand Prix, he seemed rejuvenated after practice, talked about getting a reset. It is a vastly updated Ferrari. He has already thanked the team in Maranello this week for building the update, for bringing the update so quickly to the car, and it's giving them a chance to break the Mercedes stranglehold on Grand Prix wins this season. They've won every single main race so far in Formula One this season, but Hamilton's on his way to changing all of that. Still, Antonelli in the wheel tracks. Norris has decided to manage things. He's dropping back. Still no message from race control about a further ping of track limits for Antonelli, which would give him grief when it came to standing on the podium. No word from race control, but McLaren seemed confident. No word yet.
Who do we think will get the vote of driver of the day?
I wonder. Ferrari going for the attacking 3-stop, the 2-stop was the option taken. Antonelli is dancing on the edge of turn 10. That is surely where they'll be reviewing, but I don't think there's been anything clear-cut. There's been no oversteery moment, no worry for Antonelli behind the wheel through there.
Closer again within the 1 second as he comes through the final turn. If round 2 was a score draw, this might be seconds out. Round 3 coming up here for the 2 Mercedes.
Carlos Sainz on the left-hand side of your picture getting that move on Ocon. No move for second place in your main picture.
And BMIG 3 suggestion.
I'm happy where I am. Leave it to it.
Russell 22-1.
It's a reference to the pace of those behind, which is just comfortably slower than Hamilton's doing and is capable of in his Ferrari. 14 seconds in front with a run to the checkered flag. It's all about second place right now, and Antonelli is just not quite close enough to keep the pressure on in the middle sector. He needs to find a little bit through these turns. You've got the high speed at 9, you've got the track limits, precarious corner coming up at the end of this one as well. And then if he can stay close through 10 and turn 12, the right-hander, that's where he's able to then use a little bit of energy and get closer through the fast corners and then out over the start-finish line.
Well, in a week where we've seen Elon Musk become even richer, I wonder if the Ferrari share price will take a bit of a bump if Hamilton can reach this victory.
Hadjar coming in. Is it Hadjar who had the margin to Gasly? Back out there, 2.3 seconds. Russell knows this feeling from Canada, where for 30 laps of a couple of Grand Prix ago, Antonelli was right there, challenging him all the way. Antonelli was confident that in race trim, he would be the superior Mercedes driver, but it's one thing to say it, it's another thing to deliver it. And he is hurrying Russell all the way to the flag. For George Russell, surely this is just get any result over his teammate, who's about to see his winning run come to an end.
He has to beat Antonelli today. You really feel it. 68 points between the two of them, and it's just a weekend where Russell's looked great. Took pole position comfortably, 3/10 clear of Antonelli. If he can't beat him in a race here, then I mean, you start to wonder, how do you do it? Because it's been so clean for George. He's not had such great pace today, and he's had his mirrors full of his teammate, who has just looked quicker for a lot of it. Antonelli getting out to that white line again.
God, that's uncomfortable watching, isn't it? Especially if you were his engineer in the Mercedes team. But the pressure, George now just seems like he's running out of tyres.
Oh, it really does, and this is the closest that Antonelli has been throughout the entire Grand Prix to his teammates since they left the line. And now we go over the line, and Antonelli's got an unbelievable chance here to improve. Russell chops across, the Mercedes separated by nothing. Antonelli gets ahead, and he moves up to second place in the Grand Prix to take more points out of George Russell, who's hanging it out around the outside of turn 3. There's no way by. Mercedes have history through this corner. Antonelli has the inside line, and Antonelli has passed his teammate for second place in the Grand Prix.
Yeah, it was almost like George's defence into turn 1. It was like his heart wasn't in it. It was like he almost was accepted he was going to lose position.
It was a little late and then very aggressive right towards the inside. He must have made a mistake somewhere at turn 12, because he lost a huge amount. He lost a couple of car lengths, which put Antonelli on his gearbox, and then beautiful racing between the two. But fundamentally, a nice move for Antonelli down the inside of 1, and then just positioning his car where he had to do it. His front wing has got the upper flap dangling.
Yeah.
It's broken.
Yeah.
It's coming off.
Whoa, oversteering moment as it breaks away there for Antonelli.
Yeah, that's going to part company at some point soon.
I think it did. I think it did through turn 13, DC, into the gravel, and there's still a bit hanging off, but look at that.
Yeah, so where was the contact?
I think this has been coming loose for a few laps. I saw it vibrating a couple of laps ago. The active aero shuts and it sort of snags it back on to the outside lip there, and it's been coming loose. I don't think there's been contact there for Kimi, but maybe just rumbling over curbs lap after lap as minutes come loose. But I don't think it's slowing him down at all.
His advantage over his teammate in Formula One in the championship battle will extend to 71 points.
So, Kimi, you've got 5 laps remaining.
Whoa!
So
Problem.
Track limits everywhere. Turn 5.
He's breaking down! He's breaking down! Kimi Antonelli had passed his teammate, but he will not finish the Grand Prix. The man who has not had a single reliability issue all season comes to a halt on lap 62 of 66, and Antonelli's Grand Prix is run. His winning run comes to an end, and he finds himself out of the Grand Prix.
Leclerc as well.
Charles Leclerc with dusty tyres, with dirty tyres. So drama for Ferrari, drama for Mercedes. Our championship leader out.
Lost the power steering. I'm losing the power steering.
It's the virtual safety car. It's only virtual. Virtual safety car is deployed. Could still be upgraded to a full.
Well, if we end up with 2 cars stopped on track, it's going to make it pretty busy for the marshals.
What a heartbreaking time for Antonelli, though. Having done all of the work of 62 laps to size up his teammate, make the clinical pass, and hang on to it.
This is Charles Leclerc. At the same time we were watching Antonelli retire, he reported the power steering went straight on at turn 2.
Yeah, that steering would get massively heavy if you've got a hydraulic issue. He's still running, I believe. Yeah, he's coming through turn 12, so he'll head to the pits.
It's going to be his day done. And yeah, you just cannot hang on to it, especially when you've got steering angle in, and then it goes heavy. It just rips it from you, as we saw there with Charles, who's actually done well to get it back to the pits. But huge moment in the championship. Just as all the momentum was sticking with Antonelli and going even further in that direction, Russell gets his reprieve. It's payback for Montreal in many ways here. It's a tough moment for Antonelli. Russell had his own tough moment a couple of races ago, and out of nowhere, his day just gets immeasurably better. George Russell, second place, VSC. It's a free pit stop for Hamilton if he wants it, but Ferrari don't feel the need. And it's a big one for the championship.
Well, it was going up. The as it stands table read 71 points. Antonelli was ahead of Russell. Antonelli was already losing 10 points to Lewis Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton gaining 25 on his old team with this moment. He's second place in the standings.
41 away. 41 away. And on great form with a more reliable car, you'd say, although his teammate's just parking it up with his own issue. But it seems to be another power unit issue for Mercedes. How many has Norris had this year? The fewest racing laps all season. Russell's had his big moment I just spoke about. Antonelli's now had his so close to the end of the race. Mercedes have an Achilles heel.
Yeah, Williams as well. If you remember in Monaco, they both had deployment issues, which was power unit, and so that only really leaves Alpine. Have they had engine issues?
Well, Alpine have struggled with reliability so far this year.
They've had a pretty clear run in the races overall.
Yeah, they've lost time in practice sessions, but like Alpine, their first year with Mercedes, 8th and 9th at the moment. Charles Leclerc now passed by the Alpines, who go past the stationary Ferrari. And this World Championship takes another twist on a dramatic day. Gasly up to 7th, Colapinto will be elevated, so will be Lawson, so will Lindblad to the points. Antonelli's flawless run, 5 Grand Prix wins in a row, unheard of in a season of a breakthrough victory for any driver in Formula One, finds his run ending, and he'd passed Russell to inflict more damage on his teammate in the championship, but instead, Russell claws back 18 points, and Lewis Hamilton, who started from the front row, is on the penultimate lap of the race. And he might not be going very quickly, DC, but he has what he craves, the winner. And Novak Djokovic is waving the checkered flag in a couple of tours' time for the 7-time champ.
Yeah, and just looking at the angle, they were pushing Antonelli's car back into the barrier. I'm not even sure this will get a full restart. So Hamilton is getting a moment now just to savor this, what has to be one of his most special victories in, what, well over 100 Grand Prix victories.
It is indeed 105, his total coming into today.
I think this will be his sweetest. His first for Ferrari after the run of form that he's had to endure. It's nothing like Lewis Hamilton that we've come to know over the last 2 decades. But he's back, and it's going to be just such a huge result for him, a boost to that already brimming confidence, and it's because it's so well deserved. He's not lucked into this. Yes, the safety car's played its part, but again, I think he's had the pace anyway to deliver. He did a great job to split the Mercedes in qualifying, started on the front row. Lewis Hamilton is back.
Well, that's the thing with sports. It's not about past performance, it's about the performance right now. And right now, he's earned that place to be leading this Grand Prix, to be second in the Drivers' World Championship. It is really like turning back the clock, but in this moment, he has been brilliant.
He comes over the line for a moment of history. 2.8 miles for Lewis Hamilton, who is getting the acclaim of the crowd. 6 times he has stood on the top step here, but he will be coaxing the Ferrari home now and celebrating every moment. Hamilton, who went aggressive went for the three-stop strategy, was always going to be in the fight for victory today, but it has been an immense drive. Look at what it means to the crowd to witness this. There are special occasions around here. 2016 was one where we had the youngest ever Formula One winner. This will be the oldest Formula One winner since 1970. Extraordinary. Hamilton kept the faith. Last year he was written off, and there were times where he was a doubter too. He said as much, and 30 years ago here, it was an all-time great, winning his first Grand Prix for Ferrari. Lewis Hamilton can hear the roars of the crowd. They'll stand up and applaud. An amazing moment. It's all just a little bit of history repeating, but make no mistake, it's more history for Hamilton. Lewis Hamilton wins a Grand Prix for Ferrari. His first Ferrari Grand Prix victory comes in Spain. 106 victories, the new record to beat in Formula One. A legend forged in silver resumes in red. Hamilton wins for McLaren, for Mercedes, and now Ferrari in Formula One. Russell claws back 18 points in the World Championship battle, and it's an all-British podium in Formula One for the first time since 1968. What a day of history for Hamilton in Formula One. Fred Vasseur, absolutely elated. How many times has Hamilton credited Vasseur as the reason that he joined the team? The bombshell move, no podium last year. His worst ever career year in Formula One a year ago. And wind on the clock. He's heading to the top step.
What a race, what a moment. You could just see Fred just taking a moment to drink it in.
Well done, Lewis, well done. Finally, you got, you deserved the first year that we will always remember. Thank you.
Congratulations with Jim. Good job.
Ciao ragazzi. Grazie a tutti. Hi Maranello. Thank you so much. You've helped me achieve this dream, and I can't thank you enough. Thank you for everyone pushing so hard back at home. I'm so proud of you. And to my family, I love you. And to the fans, thank you for continuing to remind me who I am. Couldn't have done this without you. Grazie.
Grazie a te, Luis.
When a sporting icon gets to 40, you just don't know how many times you're going to see a moment of magic. That middle stint where he just eroded the Mercedes advantage. Absolutely the Hamilton that we used to see in Formula One, and he continued it all the way to the flag. All right, there was the timing of the virtual safety car, but I've got people from the paddock messaging me saying they think he'd have won anyway. What say you, Jolyon Palmer?
I think he had it. I think Ferrari called this one beautifully.
Let's go! For the Ferrari! For the Ferrari! Guys, thank you for those great pit stops as well. Sorry I keep talking. I'm so proud of you. Thank you.
He's so in sync with them now, isn't he? The difference 12 months make. I think the driver did a beautiful job. Lewis was absolutely hungry for it, executed exquisite laps, and I think he would have done it anyway. I think Ferrari are a revolutionary force this year. It's not going Charles Leclerc's way at the moment. It's all Lewis Hamilton, and they have upgrades this weekend that have worked. Is it impossible to think that this could be now a season-long challenge from Hamilton?
2 years ago, Ferrari brought updates to the car, and it cost them. It didn't work. 1 year on, they went the wrong direction with the car's design. 2 years on, Hamilton has taken them to the top step. The first team to win a Grand Prix this year that isn't Mercedes is Ferrari. And that bombshell move where no one expected it, the press release was one line. It said Lewis Hamilton would be joining the team. And then to follow it up with 2025, where he seemed to doubt it, 2026 brings the win. What a moment.
And Kimi Antonelli has made his way down to Parc Ferme. All the emotions that he must be feeling, having seen so many points slip through his fingers, but that's the respect between The man with 7 titles and the man that replaced him at Mercedes, the young and the old, embracing for what is a huge moment.
Lewis collecting himself. Lando going through the admin and saying, well done, welcome back to the winner's circle. Oh, I love it when they get the ticket. All the emotion, all the cinematic moment that we've just seen. Then you get a little ticket that says your weight and it gets out into the car. I love who we're gonna have interviewing him as well. I mean, look at what it means. I tell you what, if you turn up to a Grand Prix when it ends in 6 in Spain, 96, Schumacher's masterclass in the wet. A home victory, Fernando Alonso in 2006 brought them to their feet. 2016, youngest ever Formula One winner. 2026, Lewis Hamilton, the oldest since the great Jack Brabham. And everyone saying well done as they complete their race. And it was Hamilton, Russell and Norris, the top 3, an all-British podium, so rare. And then Verstappen in 4th, Piastri in 5th, then Hadjar, Gasly, Colapinto, Lawson and Lindblad. And these moments seemed a long way last year. He finished the season apologising to our reporter, to his fans, who was asked if he had a message for the fans. He said, I'm sorry. And he gives his fans another moment. But this time, he's wrapped in red. Whatever that reset was after FP3 into quali, it has changed the dynamic of the World Championship in 2026.
It's incredible scenes, isn't it? All of the emotion that's gone into Lewis Hamilton's time with Ferrari. There he is, Fred Vasseur. His old boss in GP2, Formula 2, that's brought him across and has seen the payback come finally with a place on the top step. And he is just back, isn't he? When Hamilton gets to the front of a race, you know he's going to bring it home. You know he can execute it. He's done it so many times before. I just feel like it's not the last we're going to see of it now, because this is a sustained run from him as well. This was not a flash in the pan.
Lewis Hamilton taking a moment to gather himself together. Esteban Ocon saying well done. All of the drivers have said well done. His mechanics, his engineers, his team principal.
Nico Rosberg still waiting down there to speak to the top 3, but this is a big old celebration.
The crowd have been treated to another rip-roaring Grand Prix at this racetrack when the year ends in a 6. It's happened once again. Nico Rosberg is speaking to the top 3 in Parc Fermé.
Lewis, you did it. You're a Ferrari race winner. After all that difficult start last year, how does this one feel for you?
First, I have to start and say a huge grazie to everyone here, my team here, Ferrari, everyone back at the factory, Fred for believing in me and bringing me to this team. I started out a dream last year, which seemed almost impossible during my time last year, but we never gave up hope, and the team just continued to lift me up. We made so many changes and we made so many improvements, and on top of that, I've got the greatest fan base a sportsman could ever ask for. And so, thank you to everybody.
We're hearing huge applause for you, Lewis. That's 106 wins. How does this one rank in those 106? Is it one of your best feeling-wise?
They're all special in their own way, but this one's something else. This is, you know, I watched Ferrari have all that success when I was younger, watching it on TV. And as I've been racing here, I'd always watch the screens and wonder what it would be like to win in that car, and it's come. And everyone works so hard for it. Everyone truly deserves it. So I'm forever grateful to them. And this is just the first, I hope, of many. But great pit stops today, great strategy. The car felt fantastic. And yeah, Forza Ferrari.
George, question to you. So, of course, Lewis is your ex-teammate. Do you have some words seeing Lewis win in the Ferrari for the first time?
Yeah, I mean, firstly, huge congrats to this guy because I know how hard he works, and obviously we spent a lot of years together at Mercedes. So yeah, really pleased to see him back to the Lewis I remember when I was growing up watching Formula One. But yeah, tough day. It's good to be back on the podium and have a bit of a clean race from my side. But Ferrari mighty impressive today, and yeah, we need to keep on pushing.
You had a really strong weekend, yeah, all weekend, looking confident and everything. Is it you finding back to your best here?
Yeah, I mean, Friday and Saturday was a really strong and solid day for me. Today was a little bit more challenging. Everything started off quite well. I felt good in the first stint, and then the last two stints it was a bit more difficult. But as I said, it's good to be back here.
Are you worried a little bit now by the challenge these guys are posing? Pace, reliability issues we're seeing with you guys?
Yeah, I mean, yesterday was a real surprise for us in the team, and then the pace today was insane from Lewis. So yeah, they're coming, I think.
Lando, P3 for you. Great race pace. I mean, yesterday qualifying was a bit difficult, but today was awesome out there, right?
Yeah, I guess first of all, I want to congratulate Lewis. Nice to see him back on top, you know, so I'm very happy for you, mate. Yeah, it was a tough race. I did my best to keep up with these guys, but too quick. So we stayed there. We gave ourselves a chance if anything happened, and we obviously got a bit lucky with Antonelli going out, but otherwise, very happy for the team, very happy to be back on the podium. So a good day for us.
There's only a little bit missing now to really challenge for the wins. What do you think needs to still come?
Didn't hear a word you said.
What's missing still to win? You know, you're coming closer to them. You're close in the race today. What do you still need to deliver to get that win soon?
Just a little bit of everything at the minute. We're doing a good job as a team. I think we're making good progress, but these guys are just doing a better job. So we have to give credits to them and admit that to ourselves, that we got to keep working hard. We got to keep putting in the effort. But the whole team are doing it. So I'm very happy with them, but we just got to keep our heads down and keep working, and we'll be there soon.
It's a special day for Great Britain, by the way, because the last all-British podium was 1968, long time ago. So that's pretty incredible. So congrats to that.
Well done, boys.
Lewis, back to you. Where's all this confidence now coming from? I mean, you're flying out there today.
I think I'm just working my way back to my center, and I've got great prep. I've trained so hard to be here today. There's so much work that I'm doing in the background, but also, again, just as I said, the team are giving me that confidence with the changes that we've made, believing in and trusting in the decisions and the things that I've asked for, and we're slowly starting to see this all come together, and you know, and I'm just happy in my life, you know. So I'm in a good place. I love doing what I do. There's no greater feeling than racing a Formula 1 car.
Does that mean it's game on for the championship? No points for Kimi today. You made up 25. Is that what you're saying?
I definitely will take it. It's a long way to go, and they still have great pace, as you can see. But we're going to keep working. We're going to keep trying to close that gap. It's not over, that's for sure.
Awesome. So we're in for a good one this year. Thanks a lot, everybody. See you in Austria.
Nico Rosberg in conversation with podium finisher for the second time this year, Lando Norris. George Russell in second place, 18 points out of Kimi Antonelli's lead. But Lewis Hamilton closing the gap, still in second position in the standings, taking 7 points out of Russell, having claimed that place in Monaco, and an attacking drive rewarded with the timing of the virtual safety car. So he didn't attack through at the end like he would have done, but Hamilton will not care one iota. A superb drive to take him to win number 106 in Formula One. An amazing moment. Ferrari celebrating their newest winner. Had a taste of it in Shanghai last year with the sprint win, but the Grand Prix trophy is the one they all claim. And when he was on his haunches, drinking in the moment, you know when a driver who's won over 100 Grand Prix is in that position, exhausted, exuberant, you know what it means. And And his winning story started in 2007. It continues in 2026.
You guys had a good freaking start.
Yeah, first time seeing them races, no? Whoa! All right. Oh, was it you?
Yeah.
Was it you?
No, not the longtime. That was Charles.
Oh, that was Charles. Okay.
No, around the outside of turn 3. That's me.
It's sketchy. In 3 now.
No, your brother is so weird. Is he just following you too closely?
He was actually ahead of me. That's
but he damaged his front wing as well.
Yeah. Yeah, I did see that.
Where did Charles go?
I saw on the TV was
Sig?
was he still in the penalty? I saw he was in the pit lane for a long time during. Congrats, mate.
Freaking heck. That safety car came at all the idiots had a good time.
Yeah, we don't know. You were fast. You were pretty much on it.
Well, the cool-down room, an all-British edition for the first time since 1968, which is frankly unbelievable that it's been that long. They were top 3 on the grid in Silverstone a couple of years ago. The winner that day, also Lewis Hamilton.
Can't imagine they had a cool-down room in 1968.
Be lucky if you had a podium in 1968. They used to put them on a truck and send them around the circuit.
Nice leafy garland around your neck, wave to the crowd and park it up somewhere on the track. Now a bit of luxury to watch the highlights, gather your thoughts on everyone else's races as well as your own.
I absolutely love the throwbacks that we've had across the entire weekend. You've had Alex Albon competing out there in a Nigel Mansell livery crash helmet. You've had the reference to Jack Brabham, who was the last time that we had a winner this old in Formula One was in 1970. We're talking about 1968 when in the US Grand Prix it was Jackie Stewart, Graham Hill and John Surtees. All the references, but that's all part of the story of the World Championship history, and the driver with the most wins in that championship history is Lewis Hamilton, and it now stands at 106. An unbelievable record. So let's start the podium. Second podium of the season for Lando Norris. Had really strong race pace. Beyond the actual result, I think McLaren will be encouraged with what they saw out there today. Lando Norris will find himself heading out to the rostrum, having struggled for reliability in the last couple of races. It's a podium today, and it's his 46th in Formula One. George Russell looked like he'd lost 3 points in the championship. In the end, he gained 18, and he finishes second. His teammate retiring. But the story of the day, and what we'll remember the Spanish Grand Prix for, is that it's Lewis Hamilton's first Grand Prix victory for Ferrari. It's a long anthem, the Italian anthem, and Lewis Hamilton, to quote a great commentator, watching it and drinking it in. You could tell he was staring intently to his sea of red mechanics, and he throws the trophy in the air. And look at that. Like his first. Rejuvenated on the timing page yesterday, restored to the top step today, and the gold medal to go with it. Win number 105 came after the race. Win number 106, one of his sweetest Formula One victories. Settled in the stewards' room back in Spa 2024, so this is the first time since Silverstone 2024 that he has been able to celebrate on the top step. Look at that moment. For Carlo Santi, brought in to be Lewis Hamilton's race engineer, and 7 Grand Prix in, he is hoisting the Constructors' Trophy aloft. George Russell knows there's work to do to find the ultimate pace, but ultimately he needed a break on the evidence of previous races, and he got one late on. And he had a podium finish in Miami. He's got a podium finish in Barcelona. Lando Norris completing an all-British podium, the first one since 1968. And we're talking about moments long ago. Lewis Hamilton's name will echo long, long into the future. He is the driver to beat when it comes to wins in Formula One, and you've got to match 106 after today. Driver and race engineer combination on the podium, and George Russell dousing his old teammate in champagne, the reigning champion up there as well. And the symbolic moment of Fred Vasseur sending up Carlo Santi, and Hamilton almost reaching over the wires of the podium to celebrate with his massed team beneath the rostrum. Carlo Santi between George Russell, Lando Norris and Lewis Hamilton, who becomes our 3rd different Grand Prix winner of the year, joins Antonelli, still the championship leader, and George Russell. Hamilton taking 25 points out of Kimi Antonelli after the young Italian's late retirement. And DC said it was like a movie. For a long time, it looked like The Usual Suspects, but in the end, it turned into Back to the Future. Hamilton winning with McLaren, with Mercedes, and now with Ferrari in Grand Prix in Formula One. An extraordinary race of strategy, of fighting, of overtaking, and in the end, a historic result. Lewis Hamilton with Grand Prix win number 106. George Russell looked like it was more damage in the championship. In the end, 2nd place for him, a retirement for Kimi Antonelli late on. Means it's the first all-British podium since 1968. Max Verstappen in 4th, and it was Hadjar in 6th. Ahead of him was Oscar Piastri, P5, and then we had Gasly, Colapinto, Lawson, Arvid Lindblad scoring another point in his rookie season. Alpine will be pleased with the double-point score after struggling earlier in the weekend. Hadjar recovering places after a tough first lap. Gabriel Bortoleto just misses out in 11th, then it's Sainz 12th at his home event. Esteban Ocon in 13th ahead of Sergio Perez. Charles Leclerc still classified. He had a power steering failure. Kimi Antonelli's car just switched off according to the team. That's in 16th. Behrman was in 17th. The retirements were Albon, Alonso and Hulkenberg, along with Valtteri Bottas. And early on, it was a gearbox issue for Lance Stroll. To the championship. And it's a reworked championship after that dramatic late retirement for Kimi Antonelli. Lewis Hamilton now on 115 points, George Russell on 106, and then it is Charles Leclerc, who did not score points today. Lando Norris, 15 for him in third. Then it's Piastri, Verstappen, Gasly, Hadjar, and Liam Lawson, P10 for Racing Bulls. Franco Colapinto in 11th, and then Behrman in 12th, Arvid Lindblad in 13th. And then it's Sainz, Albon, Ocon, and Bortoletto. Alonso, the last point scorer on the board. Hulkenberg looked like he was having a strong day, but he retired. He's in 19th, and it's Bottas in 20th. And the final two places are occupied by Sergio Perez and Lance Stroll. To the Constructors' Championship. After the Barcelona-Catalunya Grand Prix, Mercedes ahead of Ferrari, and then it is McLaren in third, Red Bull in fourth. 60 points for Alpine, and then Racing Bulls in P6. It's Haas, then Williams, Audi on 2 points, Aston Martin on 1, and Cadillac still yet to trouble the top 10 by the end of the Grand Prix. Oh, what a day it has been for Formula One. The Mercedes pair were fighting, but Lewis Hamilton went aggressive. They chose a 2-stop, he chose a 3. And when his old teammate Fernando Alonso broke down, it was a clear track all the way to Grand Prix victory 106, his first with Ferrari. We'll see you when Formula One returns. Goodbye.